Fan Frenzy's where we're at. That's right, Fan Frenzy, where you take control of the conversation. We had a special Fan Frenzy week last week, and I very much enjoyed that episode. I hope everyone else enjoyed listening along, and we certainly appreciate the feedback we get in Fan Frenzy. It's always very, very enjoyable. This week,
I'll start.
Go on.
Jordan Pancras, race ranking of 9 out of 10. Great action throughout. I was on your bubble there, Jordan. I went with the 8 this week. 3 to Max. Turn 1 move was fantastic. 2 to Albon. Great pace. Is Williams officially back? And 1 to Hadjar. Solid race and thoroughly showing up Lawson. Dud of the day is Haas. Absolutely nowhere. Even before the Ocon DNF. Hero of the hour? Yes, the Italian national anthem being sung by a group of tenors in Italy. So good. Jordan, I could not agree with you more. That was my hero on the main pod as well this week. And question, can we please have more grass and gravel traps around circuits? So refreshing to go through a weekend without even thinking about track limit violations.
I'll answer that. Yes.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. These are not. I like an efficient question. That's Absolutely. Good. Yes, great. All right. That's it. Good. Next one.
I'll go Paul Dodd. Race ranking of 7.5, 3 to Max, 2 to Lewis, and 1 to Albon, which just seems to be the consensus we had. The dud, the stewards were taking forever to work out if Behrman had finished his quality lap before the red flag. Surely it's easy to see on the timing screens. Very good point. I think we alluded to that. Question, is there any better school trip than Kimi taking his class to the GP?
I like that. It's really good.
That's awesome.
Absolutely, really good. I'm going to go no. I think that'd be the best. Couldn't think of a better trip or day out, to be honest. My little man would love that, that's for sure.
Adam Hughes. Jeez, we're getting through this quick. They're efficient. Oh. Adam Hughes, 7 out of 10 for the race. Oscar was the 3-point screw by McLaren again. And I like how he tags McLaren in these comments so that he makes sure everyone gets the recognition they deserve. But he drove like a demon. So many overtakes. 2 points to Max, that move, but otherwise just Max level driving. And then Albon, 1 point, stellar drive. Dud of the day, Alpine. How's Crashy Franco going, clowns?
Oh,
I wouldn't be saying that.
It's an early
Argentinians
crow.
Could be after him.
They could be, and they're very vocal, those ones.
Well, they could be more than vocal. Question, who's doing Lego? I have nearly a full grid of the Speed Series and the large McLaren, and I've started a 1.24... 1 to 24 scale collection.
That's cool. I have Lego Adam at home, and I haven't bought any of the Speed series yet. I want to. I can't decide who I want, to be quite honest. Like, I feel like
you're going to have to fill me in. What's the Speed series?
Well, they're like the little mini ones, like the sort of 20 centimetre ones. They're about $35.
Okay.
I think
so
they're
just
They're just little mini, like like Junior Technic sort of Lego.
Yep.
You could do one.
So Marlo's got one.
Yep.
I feel like it came out before this.
Maybe. There's been F1 before this.
Yeah, but so we got halfway through it, so we're chipping away at it. It was probably a little bit above where my son is at in his Lego world, and so we're chipping away at it sort of 10, 15 minutes a night.
Yeah.
And then he lost a piece, and it was an important piece. It had a ball joint on the end of it, and so the whole project stalled while we tried to find it. I got a feeling the RoboVac might have eaten it. And so then we had Dad's. G'day, Tim, how are you? He's listening. We had a dad go home and look through his set to see if he could find it. Likewise, we had one of them, but then we couldn't,
Can I give you an incredible dad Lego tip,
which
I've learnt from life experience?
This is good.
So I have some big Technic sets at home.
Mm-hmm.
I have one of the early F1 ones that are unbranded. I have a white one. I have a green Le Mans car, and I have a 911 GT3 Porsche, one of the official ones. So I've got them set up. They're in boxes. Hux is not allowed to touch them. I'm sure he will. And they're just ones that I used to have before I had him, right? If you lose a piece, you can go onto Lego's website. On the box, that massive 5-digit number that sits on the front of the box. Mm-hmm. You can type that in, and you can request a piece for free.
Really?
And when you type that serial number of the model in, it will give you a visual picture of all the pieces that belong in that set. And you click and you say, I'm missing this piece, and they will ship you a couple of those out for absolutely nothing, and they'll replace it for you. You can do that. So that is, for anyone out there listening, that is a dad tip It works. I've done it because I lost a piece on my Porsche, and I was like, I have no idea where this is. And then I learnt that you could do that. So anyway, so you have to go hunting around the house. That's what that number is. I didn't know that until you.
I've got a
the
feeling
model
we
number.
don't have the. Well, I'll have
The
to.
barcode.
My
You
big
can just
worry.
Google it.
My big worry now is so it's been sitting. When you're working on a piece, how do you keep all your pieces? Do you put them in something?
No, I'm the type that will just rip every bag open and make a pile and just go from there.
Yeah. So these have been sitting in a bowl since we started.
Oh yeah, I did a random kitchen bowl.
And
I
I'm
can
worried
do that.
about
Yeah.
what's been lost since.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
this has been a
fair.
couple of months
Okay,
on the
that's
pause.
fair. Yep.
And I'm worried about what's being lost. But anyway, that's a good
Yep.
tip.
I
We're going to get
especially-
into that.
I do want the Speed Series out. I'm undecided between the Mercedes, the Red Bull, or I actually quite like the Alpine. I like the colours on the Alpine.
Adam, have you got
one.
the... I've seen there's boards that you can hang them on, so then you can hang them on your
Yeah,
wall.
yes, have you got those? Send us a photo, Adam. I love seeing a
Yes,
photo. Like, if
yes,
you've nearly got the
please.
grid, show us what it looks like and how you're displaying it.
Put him in our grid order for the next race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sebastian's-
With Stroll smash into
Just
the
a
wall.
wheel,
Oh, yeah.
a couple of wheels off.
Sebastian's got Red Bull, McLaren, and a Kick Sauber. I think he got two of them at the Grand Prix, actually.
No.
The Lego had a.
Yeah,
had
we
a
saw that
stand
on the
there.
way out, didn't we? I'd like to get some Duplo ones for H. I think he'd enjoy those. Yeah. Anyway, cool.
Oh, well,
All
we
right.
managed to extend that question.
We did. It was
Good on-
good.
good
All
on
right, I'm
Adam.
up next, yes? Paige has given us a race ranking at 8 out of 10. Lots of good overtakes, mainly by Oscar, and close battles. 3 to Oscar. For a track that apparently is difficult to overtake on, he seemed to have had no trouble at all. 2 to Lewis. A great drive despite his team efforts to sabotage. And 1 to Hadjar. Another finish in the points. Start of the day, Colapinto. Oh, geez, we've gone early on Colapinto, haven't we? Proving dropping Jack Doohan was a mistake, and it's clearly Alpine that's the problem, not Jack. Hero of the hour, Franz Hermann. A race win on debut. I like that. That's good. And question, what fatherly advice would you give Max Verstappen?
Oh, well, you've just done it.
Well, there is some fatherly
That's how
advice
you
there.
find your lost
That's
Lego
how
pieces.
you find your lost Lego Max. And I don't think anyone would have any qualms about setting Max free Lego, that's for sure.
Fatherly advice
Fatherly
for
advice, Shane.
Max?
Well, Max could afford it. I was going to say keep away from go-karting because it costs too much money. But anyway,
You got 20 seconds in the bath. 20 seconds. So if you like before they drown, so you can leave the.
It's gone real dark.
You can leave them. You can leave them for 20 seconds. So if you've got to quickly go and turn the oven off or something, or on or something like that, they can be in the bath, and then you can shoot off, and then you can come back as long as you got back in 20 seconds.
Okay.
So there you go. That's my fatherly advice.
Jesus.
Someone once told me that, and every time I used to bathe my kids, I
More
used to
questions and
giggle
answers
my
on
head
that
off.
one. Yep.
I have not ever done it, and I do not recommend doing it. But
20
someone
seconds
once said,
before they die.
I think there was an ad, like it only takes 20 seconds to drown, or something like in Australia.
those Laurie
And-
Lawrence ads or something.
Yeah, and I used to, and then someone had said to me, guys, you know you got 20 seconds. I'm like, oh, that's very good, but don't.
See, we sit in the shower on the plug, so the highest the water depth can get is like 2 centimeters.
But hang on, but then it's in your bathroom and then in your hallway. That seems.
He wears his goggles,
Oh, goodness.
which
well,
is I don't.
that is big.
Now I think, much to my excitement, Shane, I think so. Yes, we've had a suggestion. We have a suggestion from Paige on our social.
We haven't finished our.
I know, but I've got
you're
I've
too
got a
excited.
comment, so I'm excited for it. So for those that haven't listened to the main body of our pod, we put out a couple of tag names for Shane for his segment. Paige, Sam may call himself the reserve driver, but he'll always be Bunny to me.
Yeah.
That's good. Yes,
That's
Paige.
beautiful.
Twist that knife
That
in
is beautiful.
as far as you go. Paige would like Mr. V10. Sounds like an awesome name for you, Shane. So there's our first vote.
It's a bit cool,
It's a
Mr.
bit cool.
V10.
Mr.
Yeah,
V10.
yeah.
Mr. V10.
I'm old. I think I'm running on about.
Well,
We
you
could
are-
run it.
you are a
Anyway,
bit retro.
I'll keep eyes on this because you never
It's-
know. It could come with a flurry through in the next 5 or so minutes.
All right. Well, I'll go with Simon Blackburn. We haven't had Simon, have we? No. Race
Nope.
ranking of 7.5 out of 10. Great start. Began to settle. Then we had enough pockets of action and strategy to keep us glued with a sweet bunch at the end. Up at the end, a sweet bunch up at the end. Driver votes 3 to Albon. Could have been on the podium had the overtake stuck. Yep, very true. Looked threatening and rapid. 2 to Lando. Great drive throughout. Helped overcome the quali slip-up. Gave McLaren teammate action, which was great to see. 1 to Hamilton. Sweet to see Ferrari looking pretty hot in red pace. in race pace. Adjust my glasses. So yeah, a happy surprise dud. Whatever happened to Behrman in qualifying? So we talked about that. The timing confusion. Hero Pirelli for the softer tyre provided some jeopardy in tyre deg. Okay, so I guess that medium was what was last year as soft. Question: with pit changes coming up for this weekend's Monaco Grand Prix, are you expecting a better than low expectation race like we got with Imola?
I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful it'll... We're not going to get overtakes, but we might get some strategy in there, mightn't we? Yeah. That's the dream. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, you got to be hopeful, don't you? You got to
It's sad when you look at some of the older races in Monaco when the cars were shorter and they were going around each other at the hairpins and all that sort of stuff. So, the strategy is what keeps you glued at Monaco, I think.
How has this happened? How has this happened? We've got 7 comments. There's only 6 showing, and so everyone's been avoiding reading Sam's long.
It's
book.
my new favourite thing to do, and I love Sam's insight.
And I knew we had 7, so I was quite comfortable with where we're at.
Tristan,
and so I was going to come back to Tristan, and I was like, "You beauty," and then I've been searching for it.
Where is that other comment?
I don't know where the other comment is.
You know, at the worst.
I think it's a comment within a comment, because sometimes that lists as a 7 as well. 1, 2,
hidden.
3.
Here we go. I've got
6.
one.
Oh, you
I've
got the
one.
hidden one. Is there a hidden
Yes. Someone has hidden it.
Ah, that's
by
all right.
this page. Nat Pollard.
Ah,
yes.
Nat. She might have sworn or said
something. Nat has been hidden before. I
know.
think, hasn't she?
Did she say anything?
We'll see. We'll see if we can find something.
We'll find where it is now.
Yeah, race ranking 8 out of 10. Plenty of action. Not going to not include the podium places this week in my points. Good on you. Well done. Alex, 3 points, really showing us what he's capable of. Another fantastic talent. Red Bull almost destroyed. Yuki Tsunoda. Ooh, okay. Pit lane to 10th after that terrifying crash, and then 1 to Lewis. Finished higher than I predicted after Ferrari's awful qualifying. Heroes, Bernie and Ted doing a great job. What does that bit do segment on the grid? I agree. Did you see that? So instead of having, because Martin wasn't there obviously on the weekend, and so we didn't have the grid walk. So Bernie and Ted did a what does that bit do segment on the grid. It was great. I'm with her. Getting full access to McLaren to check out the brake ducts. Also Yuki's Halo. Absolutely. Well done, Halos, actually. Quietly going about their business, allowing drivers to walk away from terrifying accidents. Dud is Alpine. They just a shit show. I found it.
That's where it is.
Found it.
That's where it is.
Yeah, I like swearing too, Nat, but it will hide your question, and unless someone's desperate enough to stay away from reading Sam's book, we won't be able to find it. It took me a bit of searching to find your question. I'm glad I did. Could you please explain to me how Flavio is allowed to be involved in F1 again? Didn't he receive a life ban? He got revoked.
We talked about it last week.
2 years after, with a change of management.
This might be a task for the chicane historian over here.
Yes. Yeah, well, I would be interested in unpacking that whole saga again.
Right.
I would be interested.
Look forward to Look forward to Fuel for Thought next week.
I don't want to pigeonhole him, but yeah, we can make suggestions. I think there was a change in F1 management. Well, there couldn't have been though, because it was all Bernie time.
They just appealed.
Yeah. It was FIA. So change in FIA leadership, I think it was, that sort of... Then they made the appeal, and then, he managed to get off. And he didn't really push the matter for too long. Interestingly, he's actually not allowed to be a team principal at the moment.
Yeah, okay.
You got to be signed off, and he hasn't bothered with that. No, he's placed somebody else in that role, who is just going to be the yes man, which is exactly what the last guy was trying to avoid. And so, so he's considered a consultant to Alpine, and so they sort of get around it that way anyway. So, I'm with you. Over to you, Tristan.
All right, I got Sam's.
Good
all
on
right,
you.
it's not as long as
it's not
before.
Actually. It's not.
Yeah. All right. So here's Sam. Race ranking, a good 8 out of 10. Those new C6 tyres and steps softer really open up strategies and made so new overtaking opportunities. 3 points to Max. Clean overtake at the start, commands his lead and did well on the restart. Max is using 100% of what he has. 2 points to Williams. So yes, he's doing the good old 1 point per driver, but both drivers had a good run by nearly getting the podium and storming back through the field. 1 point to Sonoda from pit lane to 20th. Pit lane to 10th, I think, Sam? Pit lane to 10th is something to be applauded, especially after that crash in Q1. Good work. Dud of the day is Alpine. Gasly had a top 10 start, fumbles. Colapinto is meant to be better than Doohan. Fumbles qualifying and only does better than 2 rookies in a lesser car. Flav is not the team principal because he doesn't have the accreditation for it by the FIA, so they appoint a new puppet for him. A weekend where Sam was glad to not be wearing blue and pink. I don't think I've ever seen Sam in blue and pink, to be quite honest. Aston, yes. McLaren, yes. Does Sam own... Sam, do you own every team kit?
I don't
Something
know,
I'd just be interested to know, Sam. Do you own every team kit? Question. Kimmy had his class out at Imola for a school trip. What's the best place for a school trip that you have been on? For Sam, Sovereign Hill in Year 5 is a certified classic. Since you're young enough that panning for gold and the lolly making is awesome, but old enough that cool teachers would trust you to explore on your own.
That's one of the worst camps I've
Some
seen.
other things.
No, the foods have been the worst on that camp.
I tell you what I did on the weekend, because I don't have a favourite thing like that, right? But I went on a tram on the weekend for the first time. Have you been on a tram?
So, for those people who are playing at home, Bendigo, where we live, has got a tram set up. Depot, so all historic trams. And my kids have annoyed me to go on the trams with them every holiday. And I'm happy to take them. I always forget. No, I always forget.
Right, well, I went for the first time on the weekend.
Yeah.
I took
It's quite
H.
good. It is good.
Oh,
I
man.
have been before.
He loved it. And they're actually quite fast. And it was...
They're not.
What? They are! It's
They're not.
faster than what I thought a wooden tram is going to be. Anyway, so he was having an absolute blast. Look at him. Tell me that man is not pumped to sit on a tram for 25 minutes. My God.
Listening
could
to the voice.
not get enough of it. And he's looking out the window. So
what did you learn? What fact did you learn about Bendigo?
The fact that I learned is that my 4-year-old thinks Bendigo is the coolest word in the world.
because there's facts way on there.
Look, I was not listening.
It's called the Bendigo talking
I was
tram.
more encapsulated with what he was doing, and the old ladies around him who had stopped worrying about their tram ride and their historic story and were fascinated with him yelling at things like, there's a tree and there's a yellow car. He'd yell at it. But then he was kind enough, this lady left her hat and he ran up and gave it to her at the end. So he was,
good citizen.
batting his eyelids at all the ladies as he does. Butter wouldn't melt in his mouth, to be honest. So anyway, that's my favourite thing. I don't really have a favourite camp or anything like that.
Our family actually did an ad for the talking tram.
Yes, that's right. I've seen the picture.
Famous.
I've seen the video actually. What's the best school trip you've been on?
China.
Three
times.
China.
Yeah, China's
that's
pretty good. China's pretty
Where
good.
we're from, before COVID, we had, I guess, we had a sister school set up in Suzhou in China. So each school around here would take 3 to 4 kids and would all go as a big group of about 50 grade 5 and 6 students, and we'd fly over and go to, by the end of it, we were going to Beijing, Shanghai and Suzhou. So that happened from 2015, and then we were just about to go in 2020.
Yep.
And COVID hit, so and it's never been reintroduced.
I don't know if I've got a cool one.
Well, we just went on one the other week.
Where do we go?
Anglesey.
Anglesey. Yeah, the beach is pretty good. Yeah, actually, yeah, we go and hit the beach and go into the high ropes course. That's pretty good. That was scary. And Shane laughs at me, but yeah, it was. I did it last year and remember it being not as scary as this year. I think because I started on the more challenging one. I'm a man of adequate stature and size, and some of those boards they were creaking. I was like, I'm not sure I'm supposed to be on this, but anyway.
I did see you hugging a tree at some stage.
And that's nearly the hard part, isn't it? Moving around the outside of the tree, yeah, before you get onto the next obstacle. But anyway,
outstanding.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much for all the wonderful questions. They make our day. We'll be back after Monaco, no doubt, with Monaco style fan frenzy. Goodbye.